Hey, my fellow ink drinkers, welcome to Dark Violet Dreams, where I share my love of books, movies, and other deliciously dark delights. Hello, and welcome. If you're new, I'm Em, wife and mom of 6, who loves dark fiction. I like to branch out every once in a while as well, but my heart lies in the darkness. So today I have 20 summer book recommendations for you. Now, these books aren't necessarily set in summer, but they give me a summer vibe for one reason or another. Maybe there's some sort of connection in the book, some element, maybe it's the cover, it's more than the cover, but there are at least one or two elements in each book that make me think of summer when I think of these books. The first is Chasing North Star by Heidi McCrary. So this is a book written by my mother-in-law's good friend. And so there's a lot of connection there, but there's nostalgia as well because I'm familiar with the locations she talks about in here and things like that. And I absolutely love it. This is inspired by a true story of her life. It's written beautifully. I absolutely love it. So if you want something that it feels like a memoir, but is written in a novel style, definitely check this out. My second recommendation dives into more of a vampire world, and it is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I know that this is kind of hit and miss with the book community. I absolutely love it. I think it is my favorite Grady Hendrix so far, but I haven't read a whole ton of Grady Hendrix, so give me time. We'll see if something can beat this. But for me, Southern settings scream summer. My grandpa was from the South. Originally, he moved up to Michigan, but we visited the South often because we had family down there. My great aunt lived in Mississippi. I had an aunt and uncle that lived in Georgia. They now no longer live there. I had an aunt and uncle that lived in Tennessee. Like, so many connections to the South. My grandma lived in Florida. So a lot of those summer vacations and vacations in general were spent in the South. And so to me, summer vacation, summer, it just screams summer. The South screams summer to me. And I know some of you live in the South year round, so the South might not scream summer to you, but it does to me. So anyway, very summery vibes for me here. Fair warning, this is more about the ladies in the not book club than it is vampires, but I love it nonetheless. Continuing on with the vampire theme, any of the Sookie Stackhouse books will work. Dead Until Dark is the first. I do not own all of her books in this series, but I have a goal of finding the rest. I think I have the first 9, I believe, and I've read the first 5. I have to go back and see, but True Blood and the Sookie Stackhouse series just stand out to me as summer vibes. Absolutely love it. Her waitress outfit, you know, with the shorts and the white t-shirt, and it's just summer. If you're Southern, I am so sorry. I apologize because I just love that general area of the United States, and it's just like kind of my happy place from the experiences I've had down there. So again, another one, Kin by Keelan Patrick Burke. But I do believe this is set in summer. Yep, a scorching hot summer day in Elkwood, Alabama. So I love this book. It's my favorite Keelan Patrick Burke book so far. Again, I have so many books left to read on his list, but absolutely love this. It is gruesome. Cannibals. Need I say more? If you're in the mood for a short story that is heartwarming yet heartbreaking and isn't really all that dark, but I mean, it will definitely stab at your heart, The Houseplant by Jeremy Ray is an amazing story. I love it so much. Another recommendation that's not so lighthearted, but I associate with summer because it's a farm setting, is Animal Farm. I don't want to say much more. I don't want to bring down the vibes. Why did I include this on my list? Well, if you want a more serious read with a kind of fantasy bend to it, Animal Farm. Now, carnivals and fairs and things like that scream summer to me. We do have a fair that comes every fall, but it's still pretty hot. It's usually in September in this area. So it screams summer to me, whether it is technically summer or fall. To me, carnivals and fairs scream summer. So if you want a carnival themed book that is on the darker side of things with some fantasy vibes, I recommend Bacchanal by Veronica G. Henry. I really enjoyed this book, and I really, really want to read more by this author because I love her style. The next book on my list is one of my all-time favorite books. It is in my top 10 easy. Top 5? Probably. It is so good. And I had a copy of this, and I sent it off with one of my family members because I knew that they would love this book. They loved it. They've read it twice that I know of. And I just really wanted to snag a copy again. It's been too long since I've read this, and I want to reread it. It's going to be one of those comfort reads for me, even though there are dark elements in there. Absolutely love it. It is Mississippi Blue by Brittany Johnson. And I am going for kind of a Southern Gothic TBR pile of possibilities this summer. I really want to focus a lot on Southern Gothic movies, books, or just anything with a Southern vibe to it because, like I said, I love it. It's so comforting to me to read those stories, especially if there's like religion involved and things like that. I don't know what it is, something familiar, I guess, but I love the vibes. So this is beautifully written. She is an excellent writer, and I recommend anything that Brittany Johnson writes. Back to the carnival theme. I should have organized this better, right? But, you know, so many recommendations, so little time. Montague's Carnival of Delights and Terror by Jamie Stewart. I loved this book. So much fun. Edge of your seat kind of read with, of course, the carnival vibes. You can just hear the carnival music as you're reading this book. It's horror. Diving into something a little different. Mermaid vibes, but kind of twisted up a little bit. The Reyes Incident. I loved this book by Brianna Morgan. I actually read this in the summer. I think I read it in the month of July, the year that I read it. A local legend gone haywire, a small town cop, an impossible eyewitness testimony. Which is easier to believe, that killer mermaids exist or that one person is worth risking everything for? The next book I'd like to talk about, I actually came across on Instagram, and it was shared by Brittany Johnson, author of Mississippi Blue, and I immediately grabbed it for my Kindle. I wish I had a physical copy. This is another one of those books I need to add to my list to buy a physical copy of so I can reread it, because I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Milk Teeth by Andrew Post. Now, this is a book about a girl who lures men in to her home so she can feed their blood to her family. It's a really wild twist on like vampire lore, and of course it's set in the South, I believe. I don't remember if it's in the summer. It's been a while since I read it, but it just screams summer vibes to me, so I absolutely loved it. And it was wild, and it was full of unexpected twists and turns, and the writing was impeccable, so definitely check it out if you're into that sort of thing. The next book I want to recommend, it was really hard to choose a book from this author because for some reason his personality, his writing style screams summer to me. Summer vibes, but with a really dark twist. So I chose the first one I read by him, and it is Wayward Suns by Hamlin Bird. Rock bands, hell, really weird visions, lots of weird stuff happening, but for some reason it screams summer. It just... big barn parties and concerts and things like that. You know, summer. It just screams summer to me. The next one is a book that I did not have the pleasure of reading as a kid. And I wish I did, because I would have loved it back then. But I read it as an adult, loved the movie, and it screams summer to me because it is definitely something that I would have been obsessed with in the summertime. And just revisiting youth and kind of diving into really hard topics while seeing that you can also enjoy life even through the hard times. So The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. Love the book, love the movie. I think I love them equally. There are some definite differences in characters mostly, but I really, really love this story. So definitely check this out. And I think a lot of people read it in 5th grade. I missed out. I'm telling you, I missed out. So if you have not read it, I highly recommend The Outsiders. So when I think of summer, I also think of the woods, and there's kind of a wooded setting in this story that I'm going to share with you. And the whole thing just screamed summer to me. Again, I'm sorry. I just, like, if something makes me super happy, even if it's super dark and not remotely summer-like, it screams summer to me. So if you disagree with these recommendations, I'm sorry. But the next one, Sentinel by Drew Starling. I received this as a gift from my friend. I think she received it as like an ARC copy or a review copy, and it wasn't up her alley, so she sent it my way. And I am so grateful. I absolutely loved this. My husband enjoyed it. My son enjoyed it as much as he could. He's not as into reading as I am. And I just love this. So creature. It's a creature feature. A monster, a missing boy, and nowhere to turn. Something is lurking in the woods just beyond Aaron and Ellen Dreyer's new country home. And an evil that has been hiding in plain sight for centuries is about to emerge. The writing is awesome. There's great humor in there, and it's just an exciting read. Fascinating. Okay, this next author is also another one of those authors that screams summer to me. And I don't mean like the hot, like you want to die because you're so hot, you need to like sit in front of the air conditioner or the fan eating popsicles summer. I mean like the fun aspects of summer, the lights, airy feeling you have of being on summer break, if you had the pleasure of experiencing that growing up, and just all those like happy beachy vibes. I don't know, he gives those off. I don't know. But Switchers by Christopher Talon is such a fun read. It started on the last day of school, so we're heading into summer, so, you know, I'm correct in that way. In a version of 1996 most of us don't remember, Kurt and his friends Andy, Bertie, and Dylan are starting summer break by an abandoned farmhouse behind 7-Eleven. A run-in with some bullies ends the night in terror for everyone involved. So there's time travel, lots of things happening. It's a lot of fun, and I definitely want to reread this. Maybe I'll do that this summer. But I think this is another one of those books that my non-reader son would enjoy, so I need to try to convince him to read that. The next book I'd like to talk about is book 1 in a series. I haven't read the second book, but I absolutely loved it. Major summer vibes. It's set at the end of summer. It is set in a carnival. There's a scavenger hunt. It follows high schoolers. How much more summer can you get? Tastes Like Candy by Ivy Tholen. I enjoyed this so much, and I really need to dive into book 2. I need to read more of her work as well because I had such a great time. She gives off those summer vibes as well in her writing. So this is a summer slasher, but with those young summertime vibes. So in my neck of the woods, summer is tornado season. So I immediately thought of Bride of the Tornado by James Kennedy. This is a book that I absolutely loved. I marked it all up with my tabs when I was reading it. It was a review copy, and I ended up loving it so much. 5 stars. This is set in a small town, and it follows mostly this girl who comes in contact with the tornado killer, who is this mysterious boy who wrangles the tornadoes that surround this town. It is so dark and twisty. It's fascinating. There are some heartwarming, heartbreaking moments in this book. It is such a good read, and it is written beautifully. I loved it. The next book is part of a series. I just grabbed the first one to share with you, but I have the first two, and hopefully we will have a third soon. It is the Paisley Mott series. The first book in this series is In the Hills Above the Grist Mill. Now, Paisley Mott screams summer to me, even if we're not in a summer setting. There is just something about her and her occupation. She's kind of a paranormal, like weird happenings investigator, and has a YouTube channel and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. There's some serious subject matter in here, but it just speaks to my soul in a very summery fashion. I don't know how to explain it, but great reads for the summer. In the Hills Above the Grist Mill and In the Grave Where the Bones Are Still Wet. Both excellent books. But I think In the Hills has my heart just a smidgen more, I think. It's so hard to say, because if I hold this one, I feel closer to it. If I hold the other one, I feel closer to that. I don't know. They're both really good and tackling different things, but with the same main character who is amazing. This next book was a recent read, and it is a collection of dark summer stories called Sun and Gemini by Robert Weaver. I loved this. Definitely dark, set in summer, so you know, it's awesome. Sandy contents. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories in this book. All excellent. Clearly I had a great time, because I usually mark the stuff I like and don't mark the stuff I don't like. But this was great. You can't go wrong with Robert Weaver. Last but not least, a book that really gives me summer vibes is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I read this with one of my kids, and, well, kind of two of my kids. One was a little bit in and out as we read. She's younger and still prefers picture books. So anyway, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is such a like bright and weird and upbeat story while being really dark at the same time. So it's perfect for summer, in my humble opinion. All right, that's all I have for you today. My summer book recommendations. I would have gone into greater detail on each of the books, but like I shared a lot, okay? So you've got a lot of book recommendations here. If you'd like to know more about how I felt about each of these books, or would like to read the synopsis of each book, you can go over on to Goodreads and see my reviews, or just read the descriptions of these books. And I just highly recommend all of these. I had a great time with all of them. Some of them are super close to my heart and will definitely be reread. So you really can't go wrong with this list. I'd love to hear from you. Have you read any of these books? Are any of these on your TBR or your pile of possibilities? I'd love to hear. If you have any book recommendations for me that are of a summer nature or Southern Gothic flair, please let me know. I am always looking to add to my pile of possibilities. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a fabulous day or night and an amazing, sunshiny, but not too hot summer. Cheers.